There's a lot of reasons why I love video games. Their ability to tell an impactful narrative, their ability to bring people together, the competitive nature of them, the feelings that they give, the music. One reason I also love them is their ability to surprise. With longer periods between announcement and release, oversharing and ramped up marketing cycles, leaks and reports, it feels like on the AAA side, it's a lot rarer that you're truly surprised by huge games anymore. Which is why it's even sweeter when something like Helldivers 2 comes along. I'd seen Helldivers in the state of plays, the trailers had released, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool, I'm mildly excited for this. Thinking of it in terms of the scope of like Aliens Fireteam Elite, Back for Blood, just with a bit more Starship Troopers energy. Helldivers 2 is everything that I want in a co-op game. It's crunchy combat, it's tactical strategy, gorgeous biomes, and unpredictable moments that are so cinematic that you feel like you're crafting your own war stories. Video games are a medium in where millions of people get to experience the same stories and worlds. Helldivers 2 has us become a part of that universe and feel like you're fighting for one. Helldivers 2 has shocked me, but for all the right reasons. Let's dive in to why Helldivers 2 is something really special. Let me jump back a little. This is a co-op game. Sure, you can make solo builds, but I really do think the magic of this game is in the co-op. Whether you're playing with friends or you're matchmaking, it can create two different experiences. Organised chaos or complete havoc. You may be the last man on the team with zero reinforcements left, knowing you need to complete the mission, forget about making it out alive, or you may see a teammate surrounded and it's time for you to save the day. The moments this game creates are unparalleled. It creates this unpredictable sandbox that even if you're killed by a teammate, you can't help but laugh and enjoy it. This game creates a camaraderie. In most PvE games, like, you're working together, sure, but in this one, it really brings in a sense of community. Right now, for example, the automatons are on the offensive and we've got to hold them off. And there's this one mission type a lot of people are struggling with, and you'll see the chatter online about it. But it's about what are the best loadouts, it's all being shared, how do we map the defensive? Being a real-time game, in that sense, it feels live. It takes the live in live service to another level. In the way that in-game sandbox is so unpredictable as to what you might be doing in 24 hours from now, in 4 weeks from now. As a Destiny player and playing other multiple live services, seasons and seasonal storylines and content often feel so predictable. I could close my eyes and guess exactly how a season is going to play out. In Helldivers, I have no idea what might happen next. Now, Destiny might be an unfair example, but seasonal models have become pretty stagnant. So this feels fresh, and like, sure, we are in the launch week, right? But I get this feeling that 1 week I might be on the defensive, and the next week I'm on the offensive. Right now, it's having its moment in the sun, but unless they drop the ball hard, it's difficult for me to really imagine people dropping hard off this one because it just feels unpredictable. Its gameplay and in its content, and that is what feels exciting and fresh. As a player, there's goodwill, and you put that next to the player-friendly monetization, earnable currency, low store prices, and as a player, you almost gasp. Do I have concerns that in the long term, this is a completely viable method of monetization? Yes. But I do know one thing. I have nothing but respect for how player-friendly this game really is. Skins and armor for under a $5, the ability to earn credits to then buy the battle pass, like yeah, I fall on the side in that I don't like the paid battle pass having better weapons, but with the way everything else is designed, it's very difficult for me to feel off-put by that. And then the armor is really cool, but listen up, Disney, I beg you, just work something out, get on the phone to Arrowhead, give me a Mandalorian crossover, because this is the Mandalorian co-op game we all deserve. It all just feels right. If I could sell you this game, for my OG Battlefront 2 players, this is Galactic Conquest on the biggest of scales, with this sense of sci-fi wonder. Defending and attacking, and I love the way sci-fi is depicted, the sense of discovery, but the capture of a real sci-fi war. It really feels like you're out there exploring the galaxy and playing your part for humanity. Watching my ship change in front of me as I unlock new features just helps give me that sense that this is my journey as a Helldiver. And with there being no real major plotline or narrative, this helps create the arc of your own hero's journey, whilst the lore might implicate that every time you die it's a new Helldiver, but this feels like your Helldiver's story. And not to mention the soundtrack. You're talking about heroic and heroism, and the soundtrack just encapsulates all that, especially when you start to extract. As soon as you hit that extract button, the almost like Insomniac Spider-Man theme comes coming out, but like that alongside dropping in the pods, and it just captures this incredible heroic theme that just really fits this package. So a real big shout out to the score in this one. The progression at first felt a little slow, but it really allows you to get a feel for what works. What kit do you want to bring into the encounter? If you got everything from the start, it would almost be a bit of an overload for you. You really get to feel like your decisions have an impact. Like right now there's this researcher mission going on of trying to extract these scientists or researchers and defend them as they make the way towards this safety zone. Now you wouldn't bring in orbital barrages and 500 kg bombs because you need to bring in a more defensive loadout, mortar cannons, rocket sentries, HMG emplacements. You're trying to defend them at the end of the day. On an offensive mission, bring in the orbital strikes, rain hell from above. Games often do a good job of making you feel like your loadout matters, but here, the right loadout feels like it can be the difference between mission success or mission failure. Once you're confident on your ability as a Helldiver, you can play a lot more in how you want to and make it work. You want to feel like a Mandalorian with a jetpack and a railgun acting like a sniper? Go for it. You want to be the support guy with turrets and supplies? Go for it. You want to create pure, unfiltered chaos? Bring in every barrage known to man. One thing that's really stood out to me is the difficulty tuning. When I'm not playing with friends, I'll go for a more casual experience, but then with friends we'll turn up the heat because we can be a lot more communicative. I love it when we have different difficulty options with an incentive to play the tougher difficulties because you're rewarded with a chance of rarer currency, for example. There's just a lot of good design choices in here. No gear score, arms has like a minimal impact on gameplay, boosters providing perks to your team, mission modifiers that really make you think about the way you do your loadout, the ability to drop in, drop out. When I think about some of the best cooperative experiences I've had in video games, I think of It Takes Two, I think of Destiny Raids, Army of Two games, Portal 2, and Horde modes in Gears of War and Halo Firefight. In each of those, there is cooperative mechanics involved, something to incentivize working together. Helldivers 2 has an abundance of that, whether it be having a teammate strapped alongside you while you shoot the rocket launcher and they're stood there doing a quick reload rather than taking ages, whether you're carrying supplies for the rest of the team, whether you're running a suicide mission to lead all the bugs away from the nest so that your mates can go in there and clear it out, whether you're tuning the radar angle to what direction your teammate asks you to position it. It's what makes it this definitive co-op experience. Again, smart design choices. Oh, you've already called down your guard dog Rover? Call it down again so that your teammate can have one. It's not so overly complicated though, that a match-made team can still work together just as effectively. It gets that balance spot on. One thing I've really enjoyed is the diversity of what it feels like to fight in the opposing corners of the galaxy. The automatons provide this ranged, destructive, explosive and fiery nature to its combat, whilst the bugs feel up close and personal, they're spewing on you, they're charging at you. But even with the two factions, there's a plethora of enemies. Take the bugs for example, you've got your little nifty critters, you've got the ones that can close the distance real fast, you've got your tanky chargers, the bile spewers that go at you from range, the stalkers who are invisible until they strike, and of course these gigantic titans that stand above all else, who provide this, oh crap, how are we even meant to take this thing out? Again, that's just within the bugs, but there's agility, tanks, stalkers and titans, all posing different threats, meaning you need a diverse arsenal to take them all out. Putting down a mortar turret only for the bugs to get up close and personal, meaning the mortar takes you out, isn't always the best of ideas. But let me tell you, it provides some sensational gameplay. The gameplay then, all you have is a primary, a secondary, a grenade, and then 4 stratagems to bring in with you. Though sometimes you'll get a modifier that only allows 3. It's so simple at its foundation, but it's so excellent. I live by the phrase that simplicity is genius, and that's what this is. The fun is in the chaos, but it's also in the perfection. It can be just as satisfying to complete a mission by the skin of your teeth as it is to never fire a bullet and let all the stratagems do the work. The gunplay offering both third and first person is just a really nice touch and helps offer new perspectives. The Bile Titan feels even bigger when you shift into first person. It's a game that's defined on moments, but it offers up so many of them. The first time you launch a missile and watch it fly off into the sunset before it detonates, and then you feel the impact of the wind caused by the explosion. Moments where the entire squad is down, you're out of reinforcements, and it's you who has to finish the mission. Moments where the Titan stands tall above you as some like Godzilla-like figure, and you rain down everything that you have to take it out. The onslaught of automatons as they advance towards you with tanks and hulks and these Terminator-like figures. You rain down a 500 kg bomb, perform the Helldivers salute as you watch your enemies just obliterate without you even flinching. Even if the core loop is the same thing you've seen elsewhere, blow up buildings as side objectives, escort a package, defend an area, it's a sandbox that thrives in it, that creates these hilarious moments with friends or randomers. Like we have this one modifier that randomised what stratagem would be called in, so I went to throw down a sentry near a friend to help him out. Instead, I brought down a massive orbital barrage, spreading democracy, even to my friend group. But that's where the fun is, the friendly fire. If comedy was a video game genre, this game fits the bill. Between their punny lines about liberty, the voice actors just having such a good time. I mean, look, all the voice actors in this game, they're great. But hearing Yuri Lowenthal, Insomniac Spider-Man, asking if they want a cup of liberty is just outstanding. It's grounded but nonsensical at the same time. There's just so much personality in here. You can see the clear inspirations, like they don't hide them. But it's still authentically its own. A snowy planet called Heath and not Hoth. The automatons clearly being inspired by Terminators, but still very much feeling like their own threat. It knows what it wants to be, whilst wearing its inspirations on its sleeve. Like I say, the comedy in this game, it's great. The friendly fire is just as good a moment as taking down a Titan. It's just the same chaos, and that's what makes this game fun. You've even got the CEO like, actually, you know what? Where's the gun customization at? Okay, yeah, the matchmaking isn't great right now. We do need to work on that. These comments like that, it's just refreshing. It's the stuff that really connects a player to a game. I always say in my videos, the 2 things that define a game for me. Is it fun and does it leave an impact? The first one, if you can't tell, is a resounding yes. The second one is down to my own interpretation. But it does. Does it leave an impact in an emotional narrative sense? Nah, not really. But does it leave an impact as a new standard for what a co-op game should be? Absolutely. 35 quid, low price store, free content, transparent communications, and the feeling that you're part of this grand community just by playing. To the point where even if you don't really play with many people, I recommend this game because you'll still feel like you're playing your part. Seeing the real-time data on your ship in terms of how the fight is progressing, whilst your squad gathers around the table like you're receiving your next orders from command. It's one of the most cinematic games I've ever played that isn't a single-player cinematic game. Every scene just feels like a movie. It's just incredible. The explosions, effects, and the actual graphical fidelity. And of course, the moments I spoke about before. Someone asked me to describe the game, and I said it's Halo ODST mixed with Starship Troopers, with a slice of Terminator, and a little bit of Mandalorian. But I think that's almost unfair. Yes, it can be the Mandalorian game you wanted, the ODST game you wanted, the Starship Troopers game that you really wanted. But Helldivers 2 stands on its own 2 feet as something that doesn't revolutionise the cooperative genre, but it's the sum of its best parts. Listen, if you've stuck around to this point, just know I really appreciate it. I love talking about the best parts in video games, so if you enjoyed this and you want more of that, consider hitting the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below, what are some of your best moments in this game? Some of your favourite parts? Give me some of your incredible stories that you've experienced. If you enjoy this video, clicking the like button really helps me out as a smaller creator. You'll be doing your part. Have a terrific day, and I'll catch you in the next one.